A very good afternoon to all brothers and sisters in the Dhamma. Today is 5th July 2026, Sunday class. We will be continuing our sharing from this Surangama Sutra book by Master Hsuan. We are at page 149. Okay, as usual, we gather for physical puja. Namo 本师释迦牟尼佛。南无本师释迦牟尼佛，南无本师释迦牟尼佛，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无阿弥陀佛，南无阿弥陀佛，南无阿弥陀佛，南无阿弥陀佛，南无阿弥陀佛。南无阿弥陀佛，南无药师佛，南无药师佛，南无药师佛，南无文殊菩萨，南无文殊菩萨，南无文殊菩萨，南无地藏王菩萨，南无地藏王菩萨，南无地藏王菩萨，南无佛菩萨。南无佛菩萨，南无佛菩萨，阿拉汉萨玛萨姆多巴嘎瓦，布当巴嘎วันตัง阿比瓦德米。Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammang Namasami Supatipanno Bhagavato Sāka Sangho Sanghang Namami Namo tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Buddhaṃ saranang gacchāmi Dhammang saranang gacchāmi Sanghang saranang gacchāmi Dutiyampi Buddhaṃ saranang gacchāmi Dutiyampi Dhammang saranang gacchāmi Dutiyampi Sanghang saranang gacchāmi Tatiyampi Buddhaṃ saranang gacchāmi Tatiyampi Dhammang saranang gacchāmi Tatiyampi Sanghang saranang gacchāmi Pānātipātā Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyāmi Adina dana veramani sikkhapada samadhiyami Kamesu miccacara veramani sikkhapada samadhiyami Musawada veramani sikkhapada samadhiyami Surameraya Majapamadatana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami Sadhu Sadhu Sadhu. Okay, let us pay respect to Puja. Buddhaṃ Pujemi. Dhammang Pujemi. Sanghang Pujemi. Invocation to the Devas. in this universe in their entirety, let the deities or devas come here. Let them hear the good teachings of the King of Sages, which gives heaven and release, Nibbana. This is the time to listen to the teaching. This is the time to listen to the teaching. This is the time to listen to the teaching. Samanta Chakavalesu Atra Gachantu Devata Saddhammang Munirajasa Sunatu Sakkamokadang Dhamma Sonan Kalo Ayang Badanta Dhamma Sonan Kalo Ayang Badanta Dhamma Sonan Kalo Ayang Badanta Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Iti peso bhagava arahang samma sambuddho vijacharana sampanno sugato lokavidu anuttaro purisa dhammasarti Satta Deva Manusanang Buddho Bhagavati Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Sanditiko Akaliko Ehipaseko Opanayiko Pachyatang Veditapo Vinohiti Supatipanno Bhagavato Sangho Ujupatipanno Bhagavato Sangho Nyaya Patipanno Bhagavato Sangho Samici Patipanno Bhagavato Sangho Yadidang Chattari Purisa Yukani Atta Purisa Pugala Esa Bhagavato Sangho Ahuneyo Pahuneyo Dakshineyo Anjali Karaneyo Anuttarang Punyang Ketang Lokasati. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. We are at page 149, I think the second last paragraph. Suppose you are in debt to someone for having taken his life. He will want to take your life in repayment. Due to such causes and conditions, beings must pass through hundreds of thousands of aeons in an everlasting succession of death and rebirth. Suppose someone loves someone else for his or her mind, or for his or her beauty. Due to such causes and conditions, being must pass through hundreds of thousands of aeons in an everlasting succession of entanglement. The roots of all these are the violation of the 5 basic precepts: killing, stealing, and emotional love. Those 3 and nothing else are the causes and conditions for the perpetuation of retribution in accordance to karma. So this law of karma is something very complex. It's not so easy to understand that. That's why Shenhua, he didn't really explain much. He just generalized. Then he say he will love someone for their whatever, whether the mind or the beauty or whatever, or even for last desire or the thing. Then due to ignorance, avijja, you create the causes and conditions for rebirth, and it can happen for very long, hundreds of thousands of aeons in an everlasting succession of entanglement. But it doesn't mean that every time is due to the same karmic cause and condition. Sometimes it can be due to others. But each and every of this entanglement, due to ignorance, avijja, if you does not resolve it amicably, it will entangle. Like our famous, I think Cantonese got one saying, "Xiong xiong san bo ho si liu." So this statement is very true. You every time hold on to the anger, the hatred, the jealousy, like you want to take revenge, understand? Yen yen. Yen yen. The word is yen yen. Yen hen. You want to take revenge. They never end, understand? When does it end? It never ends. That's why it can happen for very long. Then sometimes it's not due to relationship, love and hatred, jealousy alone. Sometimes it's due to your selfishness, understand? To take advantage, to bully people, and all this entanglement. Sometimes you lie, you deceive through selfishness, through bad intent. So all this can create karmic entanglement, and it can last very long. The only way to resolve it is to have the understanding, to ask for forgiveness, to develop the repentance. Then arise the causes and conditions for all this to be resolved amicably through understanding, through wisdom. Then to avoid karmic conditioning from perpetuating, you need wisdom actually, because the law of karma is very strange. By nature, come to realize this life. When this karmic conditioning sets in and develop the movement, there is no way living being can escape from it. And the only way to escape from it is through wisdom. Wisdom means that thing, the karmic conditioning, can continue to torment you until you finally wake up. Like, give up. Enough is enough. Or you have the wisdom, you can never be affected by it anymore. Only through this two way you can escape from it. So the first way is the karmic one. The karmic one, you keep on repeating until you really cannot take it anymore. Then you give up. You just say, okay, that's it, finish. Means acceptance. Then it will end. The other one is true wisdom. You contemplate the causes and conditions, and then you understand that it reverses itself, where it has got no more power to cause affliction in you or your form and mind. Then that karmic thing will reverse itself naturally when you have contemplated and realized the understanding, and you do not have the delusion to be afflicted by it anymore. Then all of a sudden I realize it reverses itself. Then when it reverses itself, everything falls back into place. Because in 1989, when I was going through the awakening, and after that I was tested actually. Two very severe testing. My mother admitted with heart attack, and my son compound fracture, almost similar time. Then I reflected, I contemplated, what have I done wrong? Nothing. Then finally, towards the end, I realized it was a karmic test. If I cannot go through, then it will continue to have power over my nature. Then the moment I understood that, I rejoiced. Then my mind wake up. Then I saw the karmic conditioning all dissipate. Then all the things turned around. My mother recovered, came out of the hospital. My son also recovered after the operation and everything. Then my life go back to normality. Then everything go back to normal again. Then I saw the beauty of all this. Then I realized living beings also same. Most of them who have the first noble true reality entanglement, they can never get free from it until they develop the Dhamma understanding. So all this you can see, you can witness it as you develop the cultivation. Okay, then we go on. Punya, these three distorted perpetuation ultimately derive from from adding an understanding to inherent enlightenment. From this added understanding, a false understanding arises. From that, a deluded awareness brings into being the mountain, the river, and all the other conditioned phenomena in this world. Due to the illusionary awareness, we experience the world as constantly changing patterns, which are perpetually coming into our awareness and then disappearing. Okay. Before we go to the next part, I just explain the last sentence. You see, when he said the illusionary awareness, they use the word awareness, but it's actually the illusionary phenomenal world of consciousness. That consciousness has delusion. That's why it's illusionary. But here, Hsuan, they like to use the word awareness. So it's actually not the pure awareness anymore. Illusionary means there is delusion within it. So from the fourth circle formation, you will see, initially from the source, there is nothing, where is unconditioned. Then the first to manifest within the form and mind is actually that pure awareness nature, which each and every one of us will have. Because this is what we call our nature, our true nature, which is just pure awareness. And it's a nature, it's not a being. It's not an entity. It cannot come out and live life. This one can only allow you to develop the understanding and the wisdom, the meditative understanding, the direct seeing, insight into phenomena, and awakening. Then from here, this one is very powerful. From here, everything arises. That's why mind is the forerunner of all things. Mind is chief. When mind arises, all things arise. So that mind is the mundane mind that manifests from the pure awareness nature. You can understand. Because this one is actually spacious awareness, your oneness nature. Then when you, through your senses, the 5 degree of form and mind, you need to actually perceive something. Whether it's seeing, hearing, smell, taste, tactile or thought activity. You need to shrink that spacious awareness into a small space. And because of that small space with its content become a thought. That's why thought is limited. So when you shrink it into a small space, what happens is it triggers off a thought. The pure awareness with its content, it becomes a thought. Yeah. And this thought is the 5 degree of form and mind, the mental second aspect. And we call it the mundane mind, the conditioned arising mind, also phenomena. Then because as a human being we have our senses, sense bases, like the physics experiment. Upon contact, the light bulb lights up. Means the lighting up becomes conscious. You become conscious of what you see over here, the phenomenal world of consciousness. Conscious of what you hear, sight, sound, vibration, music or whatever. Then smell, consciousness, taste consciousness, tactile consciousness, and thought consciousness. Even your dream, your mental formation, or whatever, from the thought activity, they manifest into the phenomenal world of consciousness. That's why this is like a magician consciousness. From the sense basis, the light bulb keep on lighting up. Then when it lights up, you keep on perceiving through your conditioned thinking, your conditioned memory, mind. And all this is basically knowledge. So knowledge is not wisdom. That's why all the accumulated experience that you have from your sense experience become knowledge. Then it has all the psychological nonsense inside there. All your fear, your phobia, your greed, your hatred, your delusion, your whatever fear, anxiety, everything is there. Then, of course, it includes your excitement, your jealousy, your whatever mind state, yeah? Even scheming and other things. So all this trigger of what we call the phenomenal world of consciousness. But Hsuan call it the illusionary awareness. It's actually the illusionary phenomenal world of consciousness. And this one, to you, is like very real. Because without wisdom, sakkayaditi, they will cling, they will attach, they will grasp. That's why I put here this phenomenal world of consciousness, or the conditioned world. They lure and entice you, and this is very chaotic. And this is where life, existence is. That's why you cannot develop the mindfulness, stability of it, to observe, to see, to understand. You cannot free, you cannot reverse all this. Then all the karmic entanglement through your own sakkayaditi, you believe you exist, you believe the 5 degree of form and mind is you. Then there is a you, a I, and others, and living being. Then the hatred, the anger, the jealousy, the 3 evil roots, the selfishness, the fear, the worry, phobia, every of this psychological memory and mind state, they continue to create karmic conditioning. And this one is unending. That's why we call this the samsara manifestation. The samsaric phenomenal world of consciousness created by the law of karma. And this is the unending birth and death of the 5 aggregates of living beings. So samsara is actually the continuous birth and death of beings, born of avijja, ignorance. But there is another type of being that can arise when they come not through rebirth consciousness due to ignorance or avijja. The bodhisattva, they can come to their vow, which is born of pure mind, love and compassion, without avijja, without ignorance. Yeah. So that one, only those who walk the supreme vehicle way can develop the understanding. Okay? Yeah, we go back to the next session. The next session is the Buddha's enlightenment is irreversible. A lot of people cannot understand. Like, I think last Sunday, Sui asked the question, every life we come, we develop the understanding, then the 5 aggregates of form and mind disperse, this wisdom also gone with it. Technically, yes, because the 5 aggregates of form and mind that witness the direct seeing is gone. So when the one is gone, actually whatever he has learned also goes with it. That's why when a person dies, we call die because scientifically the condition no more. The consciousness has to leave. Or the physical body, the organ, the vital organ, no longer can sustain itself. So you have your life force also no use. It cannot activate it into a living being, or for our case, a human being. But sometimes it's not necessary that your organ has failed. Sometimes it's the karmic force. It ceases to arise. They call it the destructive karma. When the destructive karma comes, the life of the karmic force, like broken. Then there is no heartbeat, nothing. Of course, human being call it heart attack. It's actually more than that. Heart attack could be one of the major causes. It causes the heart to fail. So when the heart fails, the life force comes also, it cannot pump, understand? It cannot cause the heart to perform its function. That's why scientists, through their research, they know. So nowadays I was told, the scientists find various ways to help reduce the risk of heart failure or heart attack. So now they got the angioplasty technology to actually clear your artery block so that it does not cause the heart failure. Then early on, they have to do bypass so that you receive the vital blood flow and all those things. So this is part and parcel of technological advancement. But not only these two, now they realize sometimes your heart muscle got problem. Then they realize the thing that trigger of the pulsation of the heartbeat to perform is regular beats, like short circuit, or sometimes it does not function, which is quite common. That's why now the doctor, they don't know, they put in the pacer in the heart that help to activate your heart to develop the movement. But sometimes it does not work also, because a lot of people on basal, they didn't really survive long. So all these technology are available, but there are quite a number on basal. They live quite long actually. In fact, quite a number of my classmates and even I think a few Kayamita, I think they also carry the basal. We are advised by specialists and all that, and they are still okay. But some may be coming. They didn't really survive. So what I want you to understand is the so-called death is not really a person dying, but of course society's convention, you call it die, we have the breath gone, no more, heartbeat gone. Then the doctor will issue a death certificate, pronounce, yes, you die. But actually it's just separation of causes and conditions from the three main causes and conditions that trigger the animation of the living being. For us, it's the human being. So the three things that actually trigger off is you must have a physical body, functioning condition, like a car, physical car, with all the parts functioning. Then there is no vital organ that is damaged. Then there is this life force, the life force from your karmic nature, keep on sustaining it. Then there is also the consciousness that is trapped inside. So when these three, they can still perform the function, then you are alive. But when the life force, no more like destructive karma, then the other two also will have to separate, like the consciousness has to leave the body. No more life force, no more energy to pump the heart. But the scientists sometimes they not bad. Last time when they do the open heart surgery, they need the heart to pump the thing. So what they do when they do open heart surgery, they actually put you on a machine to actually sustain the blood flow and all those things, and keep you alive until the surgery is over. So all this is what technology can help, but may not be very much. But do not underestimate technology. Technology can make it possible for so many human beings or living beings to extend their life, to create possibility for things that are not possible in the past. So when you understand this, you technically will know how to die on. Actually, like I always say, no one dies, nothing dies. It just causes and conditions. Once the causes and conditions no more is separate, then you will see the craving force that bind your consciousness to this form. They will dissipate. Dissipate means become less and less, until finally it's like no more craving force to bind that consciousness to that physical body. Then what happens? The random of consciousness float out. That's why they had this out-of-body experience and all those things. A lot of people tell you all this story, but actually nothing mystical or nothing very difficult to comprehend. If you have mindfulness and awareness, you can witness and see all this. That's how it happened. Then sometimes you are lucky, like my case when I was young. Actually, I managed to get the consciousness go back into the body. It actually floated out. Then I tried to go in, I cannot go in. But then somehow I know how to do it. Then it went in again. Otherwise, you all won't be seeing me until now. So all this is a result of mindfulness, awareness, to see and witness all this and understand that the five aggregate of form and mind is not a permanent and changing entity, not you. Then these ones are all phenomena, dependent originating phenomena, condition arising phenomena. They come and they go, like what Hsuan mentioned. So there is no reality. That's why its characteristic is impermanent. If you attach, cling and want things your way, which is not in accordance with nature's way, you suffer. Not able to get what one desire, the outcome is suffering. Then because it's impermanent, not a permanent changing entity, he know you, he know me. Then it's empty nature existence, where everything is just condition arising phenomena. Come and go, come and go. No being involved, no reality involved. That's why empty nature existence. You can hold on to it, cling on to it, make a big story out of it. Then record it all through memory. But end of the day, it's just memory. 往事只能回味. And that memory doesn't belong to you also. Doesn't belong to anybody. They are part of nature's condition that manifests. So, the purpose of meditation is to develop the ability to be with the pure awareness nature, to see and witness all this and develop the understanding so that you are not deluded by it, not deceived by it. And the word you is not a being. It's not a being. It's a pure awareness nature that's witness or saw it. Then from there, because it's connected to the five aggregate of form and mind, the so-called, for our case, the human being, then this human being with the wisdom is not deceived or deluded by the phenomenal world of consciousness. That's why it liberates and it free, completely free. Okay? So now we go back to the sharing. Okay, now I read on. Punya then asks, if our wondrous enlightenment is fundamentally wondrous, awake, and endowed with luminous understanding, and if the mind of the taskam one neither increase nor diminish, how is it then that all beings and all conditioned phenomena, including the mountains, the river, and everything else on earth, suddenly appear without a reason? Also, now that the taskam one has realized wondrous emptiness and understanding, were the mountains, the river, and all the other conditioned phenomena in this earth, as well as all the habits and outflows of living being, ever arise for him again? So that was the question. Then this section of the text voices Punya's doubt, means his question. He wondered whether the Buddha nature has a beginning and whether there will be a time when the Buddha will no longer be a Buddha and will become an ordinary being again. It's just like that, that I don't know what to call him. Better call him a person. It may not be okay. You remember? After that book, Path to Nibbana and all those things, or Ultimate, the blue book is what? Ultimate Enlightenment or what? There's one, you make the design with the star system and everything. A realization of form and mind, I think. He asked a question when he saw the four circle formation. He said, very weird, is it? After becoming enlightened, we can become a Puthujjana again. So he asked, he is confused. He said, He said, then cultivate for what? It's not that you become a Putujana yet. That's why I explained it to him. I said, it's not what you think. Unless you have that understanding through the cultivation, you cannot understand. Because the coming into being through the 5 degrees of form and mind, that one is not you. That one is just a karmically conditioned 5 degrees of form and mind for you to come. And that one, when you come as a Putujana, you go through the normal birth and death process. Of course, you die with avidya, you take rebirth consciousness through avidya. But the Bodhisattva, they come different. So all this you cannot understand. So Punya got the same question or similar question. So he was asking about the Buddha nature. When can the Buddha reach a period where all this understanding cease, lost, then become a normal human being again? So this is a question. Okay, we go back. So this is the question. So I read again. This section of the text voices Punya's question or doubt. He wondered whether the Buddha nature has a beginning, and whether there is a time when the Buddha will no longer be a Buddha and become an ordinary being again. The Buddha said to Punya, he said, okay, consider the analogy of someone who loses his way to an inner village and become confused about which way is north and which way is south. Has he mistaken his direction because of confusion or because of understanding? Then the commentary. The village is an analogy representing the matrix of the task come one. The person who has lost the way represents ordinary living beings who are afflicted with deluded thought, means with delusion. North and south represent the false and the true, the duality, confusion and enlightenment. Then Punya replied, he is lost neither because of confusion nor because of understanding. Confusion has no basis in reality, and so how can it be a cause of his being lost? And as for understanding, how could there be a cause of being lost? The Buddha said, suppose this confused person who has become lost in the village unexpectedly met someone who knows which direction in which, and who points out the way to him so that he understands. What do you think, Punya? He was lost in the village, but now will he become lost again? He will not, will honored one. The same is true, Punya. The task come one throughout the 10 directions. I read again. The same is true, Punya, of the task come one throughout the 10 directions. Confusion has no basis in reality. In its very nature, it is ultimately empty. There never was anything real about the confusion. That's why I explained to you empty nature of existence. It only seems that there has been confusion and understanding. Once one has awakened from one's confusion, the confusion disappears, and from that awakening, no confusion can arise again. Or again, a person with an eye disease may see a mirage of flower in the air, but once the disease is cured, the flower he saw in the air will disappear. Suppose that person is foolish enough to look up at the place where the flower disappeared and expect to see them again. Would you consider such a person to be foolish or wise? Punya replied, There never were any flower in the air. They appeared because their visual awareness was distorted. Seeing the flower disappear into the air was also a distortion. To expect them to reappear would be foolish to the point of madness. How could one possibly call such a crazy person merely foolish, much less call him wise? The Buddha replied, since you understand that, why have you asked whether mountains, river, and everything else in this world will arise again for the Buddha? Who are the task come one? And who have who are the task come ones and who have realized wondrous emptiness and luminous understanding? Again, consider the example of a gold mine. They all contain gold mixed with impurity. Once the gold has been refined, it will not revert back to ore. Nor will wood that have burned to ash ever become wood again. The same is true of the Nibbana. That is, the fully awakened realized by the Buddha, the task come one. Okay, the interfusion of the primary element. But before we go into that, I want to explain it to you all one more time. I have explained all this before actually. That's why I share with you all the concept of the karmic nature and the spiritual nature. Yeah. You see, although the form and mind that come and develop the enlightenment, they realize it, then after that it's gone again. Then come again, then everything has to repeat. But it doesn't mean that it's lost. Where all your karmic activity, moment to moment of living beings, thought activity, they will be accumulated as the karmic nature. That's why I say here is a summation. The word is the inverted E. This represents summation of all your karmic volition. So this summation is not only for one life, for countless life. And this summation, when they rise, they are all naturally stored in this karmic nature. And this karmic nature is a nature. Understand or not? It's not a person, it's not a being. It's a nature. Through nature's law, it evolves, and it's all the time there. And every living being, the countless living beings, each have its own unique, I use the word unique, karmic nature. And as you connect and cultivate, you develop the spiritual nature. And this is where all your spiritual understanding, perfection, virtue or whatever, they are all stored here. But this one is different from this one. Well, this one, the moment the form and mind come, you are born, the Buddha said, you are born of your karma, heir to your karma, conditioned and supported by your karmic nature, and you are what you are because of this. And this one very powerful. That's why when it comes to the law of karma, this one takes full control. You are what you are because of this. But then, to inherit your spiritual nature, not so easy. This 5 degree of form and mind must know how to meditate, or cease the mind and have a glimpse of this pure awareness nature. Yeah. Have a glimpse of it, then a glimpse of its cessation. Otherwise, you cannot. Then once you have a glimpse, then there is a beginning of possibility of retrieving or inheriting your past spiritual understanding. Then as you create that movement, you need to wait till you go the Bodhisattva way and locate the gateway to your nature, then connect, really connect to inherit this. Otherwise, the sainthood way, they don't have a very powerful spiritual nature. This spiritual nature is hardly inside them. They didn't really cultivate this. Yeah. But they have some form of understanding. That's why the same way, after you become a Sotapan, it is explained and even taught by the Buddha that maximum 7 life to the sensual world. Maximum 7 birth after that. Yeah. Then second stage of sainthood, once returner. You only return to the sensual life one more time. Yeah. Then anagami is non-returner. That's why anagami cannot take birth in the sensual world. It takes birth in the pure Ambod. They call it the Brahma world, form world. So during that stage, even until realization of Arahant, they only have the wisdom to free, the provisional teachings wisdom, the Four Noble Truths returning, to see the illusionary world, but they have not perfected the cultivation of our nature. Understand? The supreme vehicle cultivation, the deep understanding of what that pure nature is. They haven't. If you haven't done that, then this spiritual nature can never be developed. Can never be developed. So this one only for great beings, bodhisattvas, who take that way, they will start to build up this one. Yeah. Then for you to actually inherit from this, it's not easy. That's why the Buddha, even 2,600 old years ago, Parinibbana, Sammasambuddha, Sakyamuni, but it doesn't mean that he cannot come back again, understand? He can still come back, but not as a Sammasambuddha again, because that one is predicted for one time only. Because that is the whole cultivation, one time. So this nature of Sakyamuni Buddha is still there. And he wants to come back, he can still come back. Can follow. That's why don't be deceived and deluded by people. Hey, Sakyamuni Buddha gone already. Yeah, you go and pray and do. It wouldn't help. No, their nature is still there. Their Buddha nature is still there. Understand? It doesn't mean that they don't exist. But it's not the form. That's why the Buddha also during his time he explained. Those disciples of the Buddha who actually looked at his 32 major characteristics and 84 minor characteristics, they were reprimanded. Well, this is not Buddha. That's why he used the word, he who knows the Dhamma knows me, is closer to me. Well, he is the embodiment of what? Huh? His perfection and wisdom. Means wisdom and virtue that he has perfected. That is the embodiment of the Sammasambuddha. So, if you don't have that embodiment, you are not close to him. That's why he used the word, he who sees my teaching, sees me. His teaching means the supreme vehicle teaching, not only the provisional teaching. So all those understanding are not easy. So now we go back to the next session. We see how the Xianhua side and commentary explain. The interfusing of the primary element, punya. We have also asked how it is that the primary element of earth, water, fire and wind element are in their fundamental nature completely interfused with each other everywhere throughout the Dhamma rhyme. You wonder how it is that the primary element of water and fire do not overcome each other in mutual annihilation. You also ask why it is that the primary element of space and earth can both exist everywhere throughout the Dhamma rhyme while being incompatible with each other. Consider punya. that the essential attributes of space is the absence of anything else. Still, that does not prevent everything else from appearing within it. How can that be, Punya? The sky is bright when the sun shines. It darkens when clouds gather. There is movement through it when the wind blows. After a rain, the sun reappears and the air is clear. A turbid mist arises when water condenses out of the air. In the dust storm, the air is obscured and reflection appear in water that is clear and still. Do these various condition phenomena appearing in different circumstances come into being because of this condition, or do they come into being from space? Suppose, Punya, that these phenomena arise because of the circumstances just mentioned. Then, for example, when the sun is shining, does the brightness in the air come into being because of the sun is shining? If so, then the sun should be everywhere in the 10 directions. Why do we see it as a distinct object, round object in the sky? If, on the other hand, the brightness of the sky come into being because of space, then all of space would be shining of its own accord. Why is it not resplendent with light at midnight, or when there are clouds or fog? It should be clear to you that the brightness in the sky is not due to the sun or to space, although the brightness cannot be present without both the sun and space. The same can be said of the whole wondrous understanding, which is enlightenment. If one develops the category space in one's mind, then space will appear within enlightenment. Earth, water, fire, and wind, each appear within the enlightenment. Within enlightenment, if one establishes each of them as categories, all of them appear interfused together in enlightenment. If one establishes the category all, how can they all appear together? Punya. It is like the sun's reflection on a body of water. When two persons who are observing the reflection move apart, one to the east and one to the west, they will each see the sun's reflection moving along with them. The reflection moves east with the person moving east, and west with the person moving west. And in itself, the reflection has no fixed position. Do you quibble by asking how a single reflection can move in two separate directions? And do not ask how the two reflections appear previously as one. Such questions concern mere illusion, and nothing about reality can be established from them. You should realize that all the phenomena are fundamentally unreal, and so one cannot specify anything about them. To assert anything about them would be as absurd as an expert illusionary flower in the sky. To expect illusionary flower in the sky to bear fruits. How then can you ask whether the primary element will overcome each other in mutual annihilation? You should realize that in their fundamental nature, the primary elements are a single reality, which is simply the wondrous awakened enlightenment, the wondrous awakened enlightened mind. Fundamentally, the primary element, water, fire, and the rest, do not exist at all. Why then do you keep asking how they can exist together? Punya, you mistakenly suppose that within the matrix of the Taskam One, space and the primary element are mutually incompatible and cannot coexist. But within the matrix of the Taskam One, space and the world of perceived object are everywhere throughout the Dhamma rhyme. Movement associated with wind, the stillness associated with space, the brightness associated with the sun, and the darkness as associated with clouds are all present within the matrix of the Taskam One. Beings, however, suffocate by their confusion, turn their back on enlightenment and embrace the world of perceived object amidst the stress of being's entanglement and perceived object. The world of conditioned phenomena appear. So that's how all this entanglement comes to be. But their explanation is actually very confusing. In fact, last time I teach you one is easier. You just understand that our nature, our oneness nature, is like the how to pronounce the word pneumona, nomina, a phenomena nomina. that nomina is the oneness. That everything that creates phenomena, they are within. The phenomenal world of existence is within the pneumona world, and then no more confusion. No more question about how come space can have earth element and all those things, and how can they interfere. No, these are the words that people use because they define the 7 elements like last time we go through. Where in the olden days they only understand the 4 basic elements to actually simplify all the other existential universe element within the universe. So 风水火土 or 地水火土 whatever, whatever the 4 elements, you name them is for simplicity, like we know earth for solidity and all things. So all these are just the basic element. But through science, you know, the phenomenal world has become so sophisticated, and that's how so many things has been created. Even your handphone, the smartphone, and all the advancement in science, technology, and they can even transform desert back to nature's vegetation and other things. And now scientists, technocrats, they can build fantastic highway, AI, everything. So all these are what we call sophistication of technological understanding and advancement. So the primitive definition of the 4 elements to represent all this myriad of possibility of creation is actually no longer relevant. Then you use what is being created to ask questions, you understand? How can fire and water exist simultaneously? Because to you is when there is fire and water, the two like cancel off. Understand? But you don't know within the phenomenal world where you are able now through nuclear reaction or whatever scientific advancement, you can produce fire anytime. Not like ancient day, you got to create a spark, dry leaf or whatever, then only get fire. That's why things has changed. So all this sophistication, unless you go through that civilization and develop those understanding, you cannot comprehend. So to me, the way Punya at that time, 2000 over years, they asked that type of question, is like, for me, it's like wasting time. So, once you understand the big picture, then you understand the whole thing. Because the phenomenal world has its possibility. Like I said, if you want to have what type of civilization, what type of creation, what type of, civilization, it's all possible. Because this is a conditioned world, and it can manifest all of this. As the human mind actually develop its own progress and sophistication, it can come out with a lot of new understanding. But all these are technologically driven, or we should say knowledge-based understanding. That's why they can complement the world. That as all this evolve, the karmic law also evolve, understand? Because nowadays I think sometimes you go and read the article, they even ask question, can the AI develop consciousness and also develop karmic and all those things? So a lot of things, the sophistication is like they are trying to merge science with the spiritual field. But the understanding of it is actually from the spiritual field out. It's not the other way around. You understand? Because through awareness, you remember the 7 elements? Through the pure awareness nature, all the other come about. Understand? Because without the awareness, thought cannot arise. That's why in the early day I share with you all. Awareness can be aware of thought, but thought cannot be aware of awareness. Why? Because thought is a product of awareness. From awareness, it comes out. So, awareness, then consciousness. Consciousness is higher than form. That's why the 4 elements, everything, they are behind. Then they introduce another element as space. Understand? Space was originally actually there already. It's just like consciousness. But the only difference is consciousness has its possibility of creation and life. Space don't have. Understand? Can follow that? The 7 elements earlier were taught is what? The 4 basic elements is earth, fire, water, and air. Or what we call foam. Yeah, wind. So, these 4 is the basic element. It's actually part of nature. The 4 elements. Then they introduce the 5th one is what? Space. Yeah. Then after that they introduce what? Consciousness. Like for us as human beings, we have our 6th sense, consciousness. So through consciousness we know the world. We interact with the world. That's why all these are mind-made. Consciousness is the greatest magician, illusionist. Through consciousness, you create a phenomenal world. Okay? But this creation, you don't meditate, you doesn't know that it comes from the pure awareness nature. That's why the awareness is the basis of all things. From there, consciousness arises. Then consciousness actually, like explained by the Surangama Sutra, initially is the first thought of ignorance, avijja. That's why the Buddha said, he used the word inconceivable. The word is inconceivable, is the first thought of ignorance that condition living being to what it is now. Why is it inconceivable? Because through that first thought of ignorance comes the primordial darkness. Then from there it conditions the first consciousness and all those things and move on until it's so sophisticated. That's why he said that consciousness that started off, we develop its sophistication until it becomes the traveler in space and time. Understand that? Because of the karmic law of karma. And this continuous birth and death, develop more and more sophistication. Then over time, it develops into what they call space, planets, forms, and all those things. Then this traveler in space and time forgot how it arises. That's why it gets lost and entangle itself in the phenomenal world conscious through the law of karma. And through samsara, it continues to generate and manifest. Then, of course, there is also the cultivation that leads to the cessation of some of the former mind through the Arya, or what we call the sainthood way, provisional teaching. Then there are many who took the bodhisattva way. And that one, even though you say many, relatively is still very, very minute. Yeah, very few know how to go that way and develop the cultivation. So because of that, all this understanding of the four circle formation and the evolution of humanity, living beings, even the universe as it is now, the whole of the big picture is very, very complicated, very sophisticated. And there is hardly any teaching that can encompass the whole thing thus far, except the Buddhist teaching, as far as my nature's understanding tell me. Because there is no other teaching that can take us to that extensive understanding of what the whole thing is, how it all started. Even science, based on their technological advancement, they also have their limitation. But our present civilization's understanding, the breakthrough for science and technology is not bad actually. We have gone quite far, especially the last 4 or 5 decades. We progressed very fast, and we have developed a lot of understanding. And from now onward, the advancement will be a lot more faster. That's why you look at the AI era. Now it's no more internet now. It's the artificial intelligence era. And the application of it, the progress that can be generated from it. Even a lot of those scientists or people who have that understanding, they can see the potential, and it's really frightening, really frightening, because the AI, there are so much things that they can do. They not only have the capability to self-learn and progress until they are even smarter than the so-called humans. They can go beyond as far as intelligence-wise and all those things. But the only thing they lack is consciousness. They don't have consciousness. And now they are trying to research to develop the breakthrough to make artificial intelligence maybe not like human or living being with consciousness where there is no karmic nature, but they want to generate a type of what they call they have some field in the research where I recently managed to went in and Google a bit about this artificial intelligence. Yeah, it seems you try to think of all the good things that the AI can do for you, isn't it? Like the robot and all those things. But do you know that now there is a possibility of training the AI with the different type of ethical boundary condition? They can deceive you, cheat you, and even argue with you and tell you all. They are developing all those models. It's how you want. Because some people complain through the interaction of chat. If all the robots so nice, life got no fun. There is nobody to scold me, to disturb me, and do all those funny things. Everything is like ho tang wa, means what? Very obedient. But that is what you program into it. In fact, now some of the robots, the way they answer you can be very sarcastic. You realize that? Even it's in existence already. You ask them certain type of question, he will actually answer you back and like tell you or take you over. So all this is because AI is a generative AI. It generates itself as self-improvement. The more question you ask him, he will receive more knowledge than you want, and he become more intelligent than you want. As a human being, your brain is limited. Understand? And like the chess master cannot play the computer, the AI already. The AI is way above them because they have this generative AI and self-improving and self-learning and a lot of things are possible now. So what I want you to understand is ultimately you don't have to worry about all this. You only need to understand that the source from there created all this, means the pure awareness nature. From there, all this arises. So how it evolves and how it transforms, you don't have to worry. As long as you are with this pure awareness nature, every life you come, there is this karmic nature. You will still have the understanding and the age over all these things. Because I look back, my form and mind, I like to come during transition period. Despite what my nature trained me in as a civil engineer or what, but I can understand all this way beyond whatever humanity can understand, in the sense that through this pure awareness nature that my past inheritance of the spiritual nature have developed, I realize through this I can understand all this, no matter what the sophistication is. And all this is what this teaching, the so-called, I don't want to call it just the Buddhist teaching, maybe the Dhamma is all about. It has reached that extensive nature of comprehension and understanding of what creation is. Not only what the world is, what creation is. And it's beyond the universe and all those. So all this, hopefully, that's why a lot of Buddhists, they like to champion the Buddhist understanding through the Surangama Sutra and all those things, and explain all these things. But the main understanding is not just the teaching, the sutta, but it's about the nature within, understand, the pure awareness nature, leading to the ability to locate the gateway to the nature and expand that cultivation and understanding. Because within there is a lot more than what the world through its civilization and technological advancement can comprehend and understand. So all this is just for sharing, and maybe in the future when more and more Kayamita develop the ability to cultivate, then we can have better understanding and the interaction can be more meaningful. Okay. Almost 4:30. I have to stop somewhere. Go back to the notes. 154. Huh? Okay. Maybe stop here. Huh? You all can now commence your awareness-based meditation. 45 minutes. I will set the alarm. The usual, relax. The four support, relax body and mind. Then maintain awareness. Silence the mind. Then stabilize the awareness. And for those who have done the first three, you can straightway go to the fourth support, which is trust. Trust your nature to develop the meditative movement. So here, trust means no more interference from your thought activity, your memory, your knowledge, etc. Okay, now I'll set the alarm and you all can commence your meditation. Okay, you all can slowly, mindfully come out of the meditation. Try to maintain whatever inner peace, inner calmness, and inner awareness that you have developed for as long as you can. These are the mind states, meditative mind state that you need to sustain, to develop the daily mindfulness, the stability of it, so that you can be heedful throughout the day. Okay, now we open up for second session, which is meditation reporting, followed by whatever Q&A or question that you may have. You can ask me anything regarding the meditation, the Dhamma, or how to apply the meditation or the learning of the Dhamma that you have learned to help you understand life and maybe resolve all your whatever life situation and problem.
Brother Mr. Steele 和甘米达下午好。Brother 我要做一个我有一个 experience 我要做个 share。
好 ，OK。
关于上2个礼拜我去那个浪登的一个 experience。
OK。
这一次我们有15个人去那个海岛。before 去那个海岛的时候，他们就有问我们除了做浮潜，我们还有去一个是就是深潜水的把那个是 additional 的 program 要报名。half of them 全部都有报名，但是我没有报，因为我的游泳不是很厉害，然后我又对深入那个海水里面，我有一种很莫名的恐惧，所以我就没有去报名。somehow 就到了那一天，1 hour before 这个 program 要 start 的时候，就有一个女生她不舒服，然后她就讲她不要去。然后我其他的朋友每个就一直叫我下，一直叫我去，然后我又我知道我自己的那种那我的 condition， 然后我又不想给我自己有太多的那种压力，我一直拒绝，每个一直来 persuade 我去。然后一直讲不用担心，他讲我们会有个 training， 然后会有个教练带着你下水，然后一直叫，然后out of sudden 我突然间觉得我就答应他们，然后就 OK 好half an hour 了过后我们就开始了。所以当一开始的时候，我们是那个教练是给我们 briefing，给完了 briefing 了以后。 就开始我们就穿那个救生衣，带那个氧气筒。
对对对。
我的朋友就在对面坐着，他是第一个穿那个氧气筒。的moment我一看他那个教练帮他穿那个氧气筒的时候，哇，我的那个 sensation， 我的心开始很 strong 的一直在跳，很快，哇，全身那种哇，那个很 strong 的那种 heartbeat， 一直哇一直跳，我整个人哇一直在那边一直在跳动，但是我就渐渐的一直看住我的朋友在穿那个氧气筒，然后后来到了第二个，哇，我还是 continue 一直哇那个心一直在变很，一直跳，然后慢慢的他就停了下来。所以我们全部穿了氧气筒了以后，然后我们就去游泳池里面去 training， 他就 train 讲说，如果那个你在水里面有那个 pressure， 你要怎样的处理？然后我们那个眼镜如果进了水，你要怎样？还有我们的那个氧气，哇，他就教我们在水，就在那个游泳池的水里面教我们怎样去做这个动作。哇，我很紧张，我一直从那个游泳池里面跳起来，一直跳起来，因为那种 fear， 一直这样子，一直跳起来。那过后就他教完我们学了以后，连他们女生会比较要有 extra 的时间，然后我们男生就在那边等他们。我就在那游泳池的时候，我就一直在 continue to silent to aware 这样子然后过后就想 OK 就 start 了，我们就要下海了。然后我就抱住那个氧气筒，哇，很重那我们就穿着那个衣服，然后我们就从那个沙滩下那个海水，然后那个海水就 start from 你的脚到膝盖到腰，你慢慢到那个肩膀的时候，我们整个就沉了下去。But surprisingly that the whole section 我就是在 silent aware 里面这样子的走，所以我们就在深水里面走了半个小时，潜了半个小时了以后回来。然后我的朋友就跟我讲，哇，就恭喜我，他讲哇 ，you managed to do it 觉得我说很高兴所以整个 section 就完了。然后我第二天早上我就睡觉了以后，我第二天早上我起来，我 recall 回我昨晚的 incident， 昨天那个 evening 那个潜水的 incident，我觉得很像来，怎么我可以很容易的去 overcome 这一个incident， 这个 fear。然后我就在 recall 我整个的那个sections 的时候，我忽然间那个 understand 就 arise that， 他说那个 understand 我就觉得我能明白，就是说，因为我在整个 section 我都maintain在那个 silent 里面aware。所以 even 那个刚开始我看到我的朋友在穿那个氧气筒的时候，我的心一直在开始一直在跳的时候，我没有 allow 我的 thought arise 去 label 这个 feeling as a fear，所以我只是 silent 的就是看住它，但是那个 sensation so strong，哇，整个那个心跳到很厉害，所以我就明白说 actually 我们不去 label 这个 sensation。其实我们每次在 silent meditation 的时候，我们也听到我们的 heartbeat， but 这一次它只不过是比较 strong， 比较 intense， but 如果我当下我去 label 它 as a fear 的时候，连我的 emotion 我的 mind 就 take over 了，整个 scenario 就不一样了。
You will become enhanced， 哇，对，就搞到你很辛苦。
然后呢，我又在 recall 我整个过程的时候，我发现到，我很像我很像我的 deep inside 里面那个 understanding， 很像一个 base 这样是在 support 我。我都还没有变成 Yoneso Manasikara 出来，但是我很像我很像你的 heart 里面就是明白，你只要 accord and flow，be with it，silent aware 跟 accept。当我在 recall 的时候，这些 Dhamma 就 surface， 但是当时我就在想回我昨天的时候，我觉得这一些 Dhamma 它很像是一个就在你的 heart 里面 silent 的，很像在 support 你。所以我整个 process 虽然我虽然那个 sensation 一直出来在 disturb 我，但是我的 mind 都一直静静的，连整个过程我就是跟着他们这样子 accord and flow 的这样子跟着去走，去潜水。 我说如果是以前我看着那个海水从我的这个脚到我的膝盖到我的腰，然后我们慢慢的到我的肩膀的时候，哇，我一定是整个人就给那个 top take over 了，然后我整个人一定是 give out 了，就跟他们讲我不要，把这一次我就 silently 的去 accept， 去 aware， 去看，好像去 explore，what is the next。就在这整个的过程中，哇，我就发现到，我说我就整个 understand 那个 Dhamma 的 beauty， 这个 Dhamma 的 beauty， 整个 session 我没有做什么，我只是 silent aware，然后 accord and flow 的跟他们一起去潜水，然后我好像我什么也没有，就这样子跟着他们讲做什么就做什么的这样子，但是我就整个的 penetrate 了去 overcome 我的这个 fear。然后我就整个明白，这个 Buddha Dharma 的他的那个 beauty。过后我也跟我的朋友在做分享，我说只要我们能够接受跟安静 silent， 就能够take over， 就能够 overcome 这个fear。过后我一直也在想，这个 silent 跟 acceptance 对outsider 对一个不是 cultivator 的人来讲，它只是一个，对，它只是一个 wording， 它只是一个字，
他们做不到的，
对，做不到，所以我说一定要去 cultivate， 一定要去 cultivate， 然后我就突然间我就慢慢的就明白说，我们要去 cultivate 什么，要去 cultivate 一个是 silent， 一直要去 continue 的去 stabilize 那个 silent。在 daily 里面 whatever the situations arise 的时候，去 maintain 那个 silent， 一直 cultivate step by step 的去 stabilize 它。Then the other side 呢，就要去 contemplate， 就很像这些 Buddha Dharma， 就每次 share 的这些 Dharma， 很像 be with it， 什么叫做acceptance， 什么是叫做silent aware， 我们要去 contemplate， 对，要去 contemplate。当这些 Dharma 的 wording 我们一直在去 contemplate 的时候，它慢慢的会 stabilize。The moment 它 stabilize 的时候，它好像会进你的心里面去。当它进你的心了，当它进入了我们的心了以后，我们的心就很像它会比较的 stable， 比较的平稳，它不会很像 lost。所以我就发现到，其实我在这整个 incident 里面，我没有紧张，是因为这些 Dharma 的 wording， 它帮助了我，让我even在整个过程中都很 stable 的去面对这一些的这 situations， 然后我就深深的明白说，只有佛法才能够 free 我们。在 daily 里面面对所有的事情，
对，
这
very good， sadhu。That's why unless you go through all this type of experience and develop the understanding, you won't understand why I always say life itself is your greatest teacher. Because without going into life, you can never understand what fear is. Because when we have certain phobia towards certain thing, all this can trigger fear, where it's a projection of thought from our accumulated memory or conditioning. Because like what Song said initially, the thought will tell you, hey, you are not a good swimmer, no? If you're going to go and try this type of thing, no? Then that phobia or whatever, they can arise. But when you have the Dhamma already, it's totally different. I still remember, because a lot of things in the early day when I was young, you can easily develop fear because you don't understand. Then I remember when I was young, as a kid, I used to fear dark area because as Chinese, we were so conditioned that dark places, eerie places, got ghosts and all those things. We don't understand. Then later on, even swimming, I remember in the early year when I go down the swimming pool, we see everybody like very excited, just jump around and learn how to swim. But as I walk into the pool, every step, it was actually bringing you down. It's like, definitely you are heavier than water. But I'm a science student, and I was told I'm lighter than water because of our lung capacity and the air and all those things. Then nevertheless, with the understanding, that one is not Dhamma, no. That one is just understanding that my body is lighter than water, the buoyancy. But then, it's not easy to develop the faith, like what Song went through, the faith and the silence, to actually go through it. So what I did was, I was quite confident because as a science student, I actually understand that. So what I did was, I said, if my body is buoyancy, I shouldn't struggle and do anything. Naturally, my body will float. But then the moment I actually completely let go and let the body move itself, you know what happened? The first instant, the whole body went down. But there was no fear. Although the confidence has not come in yet. Then I experienced it, I completely silent. Then I just let the body go down. No resistance, nothing. If I resist, gone already. Then you know what happened? It reached a certain depth. Actually, it's nothing to do with the depth. It's actually your buoyancy take time to build up. It's not immediately build up. Then when it build up, then there is a force, like upthrust from the buoyancy, where you are lighter than water. It started to push my body out. The moment I experienced that, I was full of confidence. Then I just, inside like smile, rejoice, then silent, then allow it to float me up. That time I think I was about 12 years old. Yeah, but early day I was swimming in the river with the head up. Have to struggle to keep afloat. Then when I went to the swimming pool, I tried that one. And I realized the buoyancy pushed me out. Then from that day onward, I not only got no fear, I know how to swim the breaststroke they call. Because last time we off river style we got breaststroke, whatever stroke is free. We call it freestyle. We just move our hand and kick our leg and put the head above. But then after I know that I can float, then I realized to swim is very easy. I only have to move. Then I start to develop the breaststroke. Then I start to feel more confident staying underneath the water for a longer period. That's why after that I know how to swim. Then that one is from knowledge, theory. It also helps when you have it, then you experience it. But buoyancy flotation is not long. For what song they all go through, and you don't have the meditative understanding to accord and flow and silence your mind and go through, actually not easy to develop it. But of course, many people who has the passion and love for this type of hobby, they try it and they like it. And they can actually develop it too. But for my case, of course, I never tried diving because I don't even have a condition to do that. But I saw my wife go for snorkeling, and she ended up liking it, looking at the fishes. That one is very shallow water one. Very shallow water one. I think in Sabah, the beach there. She went in with the goggles. Then, what I experienced after 1989 when the Dhamma arises, whatever happened, I realized I no longer have the fear, the phobia that I used to have when I was young, like dark places or what. Where is the understanding? Like he know you, he know me. Then whatever happens, even lightning or thunder or what, very loud or what, you always end up at the heart area. No? Then like there is nothing. No? Then what I went through on the first day of university was even more beautiful when I meditated. Then the heart here, I went into the arupa. It's like a cylinder of energy. Nothing can reach it or no. Oh. Then they at the most like circulate, vibrate around the heart area. It cannot even touch the inner layer. So all this actually developed the understanding for me. Then later on when I grew up, after I developed the meditation, then after 1989, after my nature connect, then I realized I can be in a state of nothingness or no. It's like I don't exist at all. No. That's why I know when you inquire with a question, inquiry, without thought, who are you? Actually, you can find out you are nothing. You are nobody. You cannot identify. Because then I realized the pure awareness nature, to identify, to perceive, to know, the thought must arise. That's why when you know how to silence without the thought, that thing that project and create whatever fear and all those what they call anxiety, worry, they all subside and cease. Because thought is the movement. Because thought is the one that creates the delusion. That's why we call it thought delusion. That Sakkaya deity trigger the fear. Fear of what? Fear of the unknown. Fear of dying. Fear of losing something. All these are thought projection. And that fear becomes a living reality when living beings don't have the understanding. When you don't have the understanding, your knowledge, your conditioning, or your belief system, all this very easily trigger fear. And it will cause you to react and stir and even panic. That's how you actually learn, develop all this understanding through the meditative training and through experiencing things while you are going through life. That's why I always agree with what my teacher told me, Ajahn. Life itself is our greatest teacher. We learn a lot of things from life, from existence, from nature. And nature has marvelous virtue and beautiful quality. Human being, because of the thought activity and the memory and the conditioning, develops that fear through thought projection. Actually, without thought, you are nothing. You are nobody. And there is no movement at all. But you cannot be without fear if you have a thought. Well, that thought is egoic. The thought will make you believe you exist. And when you think you exist, you fear of injury, fear of death, fear of even like you cannot breathe, sophisticated and all that. And all these fears are very real. Fear of your secret of life being known to others. Like if you break the precept, you steal, you misappropriate, commit CBT, or you cheated relationship or whatever. There is fear that people come to find out, or the police come to find out, or your enemy come to know, or people that you have cheated and deceived come to know. Then that fear can intensify when you become like suspicious. That's why fear can trigger worry and anxiety. Why you worry? Why you have anxiety? Why you end up panic, having insecurity? That's why fear, worry, anxiety, insecurity, they are the result of fear. There is something in you that trigger of fear. That is mainly Sakayaditi. Because when there is Sakayaditi, self-delusion, that fear manifests. That's why you believe this is you. You develop the worry and the fear of this body, getting old, getting sick, and one day die. Or it may have developed accident or injury or severe fatal disease and unforeseen injury, or you call, apart from injury, is I think sicknesses. Then all this, they manifest through the thought. That's why to meditate is to learn how to develop the ability to silence. The moment you can silence without thought, that true nature arises. And the realization of that true mind, that true nature, pure awareness nature, is very powerful. That's why stabilizing that, develop the understanding of that, and use it to live life is world of a different. One is heedful living with that nature. The other one is heedless living, lost in thought projection, developing all the unnecessary fear, worry and anxiety, even sorrow, lamentation, affliction, torment, phobia, everything. And all these are the result of lack of understanding. Then when you lack understanding or wisdom, you don't know how to act. You act according to memory, which is not acting at all. But when you have the wisdom, you act according to understanding. The moment you understand, actually thought ceases to have power over you. Thought ceases to deceive you. The phenomenal world of consciousness and form, whatever phenomena that manifests, whether it's physical, mental, or nature's phenomena, cease to have power over you. At any one time, you know this is not real. This one can separate and just go or die. It doesn't have any fear or any worry, any anxiety. And all this you have to go through. You have to test yourself. But for me, my nature, I was lucky. It comes to me on its own. Actually, before I was 35 years old, before I connect, the understanding started to arise already. That time was mainly through learning, listening to the Dhamma, first learning, and contemplation, reflection, stabilizing it, developing the initial wisdom. Then in the meditative training, Bhavana Maya Panya, I have to go through the cessation first. After I have a glimpse of the cessation when I was in Cameron Highland, I developed the ability to go into the oneness nature. Then I start to understand the true mind and the Monday mind. Then after that, I start to develop a lot of meditative understanding under the third turning. The third turning, it will come to you as a meditative. I should call it test. It like let you go through that transformation the mind went through. That is like a test. Then when it tests you, I remember the first few one which I shared with you, it's like in the meditation, all of a sudden my mind went into that state that it can flash up very high, very high into the sky. Then all of a sudden it manifests like this mind is going to dive down and crash and die. But at that moment, no fear, nothing. It know all this, no reality. Sabbe sankhara anicca, sabbe sankhara dukkha, sabbe dhamma anatta. Especially anatta, empty nature, existence. He know you, he know. The mind just silent. That's why the key is silent. Of course, sound add in, accord and flow. When you silent, you already accord and flow actually. The moment I just silent, that whole thing went down at very high speed. Then you know what happened? The moment it hit the ground, there is no fear, nothing. But like you pass the test, then the mind rise again with joy. Then the second test, I remember I was in a cave. And I was mindful. Okay. Then I saw a lot of this pond in the cave. They are very corrosive type of water. Then you see a lot of people are like corroded away with the bones and all those things. But there is no fear I just walk into the thing. Then nothing happened. Then I keep on. Then I thought, what is all this? Then all of a sudden inside, it's a test. You have passed. Then there are many others. Then later on I realized, before I wake up, when I was in that awareness state, the message from great being, when they come, you know, very vivid, very clear. But every time just before I wake up, then when that short message that manifests, it's like you are in a dream state, but it's not a dream. It's a very vivid one, and always very colorful. No normal dreamer, you don't have this type of color. This one is very colorful, very, very vivid. And the message very clear. Then the moment I saw this manifest, like deep inside, straight away there is understanding. This great being is who, this great being is who. Then the message very clear. Then immediately after that there is a lot of gratitude and all those things. So whatever the manifestation, as you go through this cultivation, you will know how to apply it. Like for Song's case, this is one of the things in life that he has fear early on, worry, and he don't like to do this. But then there is condition for him to learn, to see, to understand. Then he linked it back to the Dhamma understanding, which is the movement of thought. That's why you have to silence. To him, he used the word, his own word, silent, the accord and flow. But when you understand that time, the moment you are silent, you actually accord and flow. Because when you are silent, thought cannot arise, thought cannot move. So when there is no movement away from the moment, then thought cannot create and manifest. Then it cannot develop the conditioning to make you fearful, to make you develop the phobia, the worry, the anxiety, the uncertainty, the confusion. All this is to be, all this is what thought is capable of. Thought divine and create the movement. Because before this thought, there was none of this, isn't it? It's just like before fear, right? There was no fear. Then how did fear come about? Fear is dependent originating. We are the conditioning from your knowledge, from your belief system, from your karmic past. All this create the causes and conditions for fear to manifest. Then sometimes karmic is like that. If you every time you go and heedlessly talk nonsense and make people fearful, that type of fear and phobia will come back to you. It's like when I was young, I fear of dark area and all those things. God goes. Because in the past, I must have told people all this nonsense. Hey, don't go. This area very eerie. You can do this. When you come before you have the Dhamma, you also have fear. Then like you will dream of like 北拐拆山like in the dream, like the ghost come and haunt you and disturb you. I think a lot of people went through that. I heard the sharing from Joy last night. I remember the first lesson at Thursday class. She shared it because she late night and all those things. When she went back, she got this like nightmare thing. So a lot of all this, you can develop the understanding if you meditate. Then develop the understanding of what sati is, awareness is. Then from the wisdom, you reflect back, recollect back. You can understand all this movement. That's why I started contemplating into fear. Where fear is the source of all this movement. And fear is the result of avijja, ignorance, delusion. When you don't understand, you fear. Then when you have sakkayaditthi, the egoic mind, the personality create the evil root of greed, hatred and delusion. So that sakkayaditthi, which is the personality, will actually make you believe you exist. And because you think you exist, you want to own things, possess things, you develop the greed, the possessiveness, the craving, the desire. This is a positive. Then when you cannot get what you want, you develop the aversion, the hatred, the jealousy, the whatever, the opposite. Then when there is moha, or what we call sakkayaditthi, self-delusion, we develop fear. Where this fear is a result of fearing that the physical body might die. You might die. You may be harmed. You may be injured. You have to go through old age, sickness, disease, death and all those things. Then fear of losing your loved one, your prized possession, your career, your wealth, your possession. So the fear of losing your job is actually a major fear too. Fear of the unknown, that is the biggest. You think that you don't understand the unknown, you haven't experienced before. When you experience it, that fear manifests. That's why I say stay with the emotion, be with it, silent. Whatever happens, even anger, silent. The very flowering of that emotion or the thought is the very ending of that. Experience it. You have to go through it. Then when you experience it, you come out of here. It's just like that swimming thing. After I experience the buoyancy, that moment onward, no more doubt, nothing. That is Dhamma investigation. You investigate it through understanding. And the understanding can come in the form of scientific understanding too. But spiritual understanding is even more beautiful, where the understanding actually free you. Because the understanding you contemplate until it becomes the Dhamma, Yoniso Manasikara, then it will prompt you straight away, then there is no more fear. No one die, no one sick, no one know. He know you, he know me. Then Sabbe Sanghara Anicca. Then all this movement cannot move. You realize straight away it stay there. Then inside, very quiet, very still. No movement at all. Very good. Sadhu. So,
其实我回来 contemplate understand 了以后，我觉得很开心，就是我能够在 daily 里面apply 这个 dharma on 这个我们的 emotion， 对especially 是 fear， 因为我从小的时候我就很多的这种 fear， 我是觉得这是我的 past life 带下来，对，所以我很多那种莫名的恐惧，在我小时候它就一直在 disturb 我，until 我这一次我在这个海岛，我这样子 go through 了以后，
就不一样了，
我这个很像
free 了，就不一样，Then all those belief system 啦。They call it sila bala, don't know what. The Pali word is very long. Means right and ritual can never have any power over you. Can never. People go and tell you, hey, you die already. What happened? You know all those are bullshit. No one died, nothing died. You know, consciousness separate. And the condition, everything is within the condition. And all this understanding are very important. Otherwise, you cannot free from fear. Fear is a real movement born of sakayaditi, self-delusion, and even avijja. When you don't understand, the lack of understanding can trigger fear. And fear is a movement that living being can never understand unless you meditate with a silent mind. Stay with that, whatever movement, the emotion. Not only fear. Fear is one of the major emotions, but anger also an emotion. And worry, anxiety, then sometimes panic attack is also a movement. That's why you only need to understand that without thought, all this movement cannot take place. So the culprit is actually thought. But when the user of thought doesn't understand, then thought has power over you. Remember that. But when the user of thought has the understanding, thought got no power over you. Thought loses its power. Then the user of thought can use thought for the benefit of mankind, for the benefit of all. Means you can use it to arise the right understanding, to use thought appropriately, so that thought become a useful tool, T-O-O-L, like I always say. It will help you to actually live life. We are arising all the right thought, the appropriate wholesome thought. No more negativity of thought. No more karmic entanglement. That's why the user of thought is, of course, wisdom. Yoniso manasikara. Understanding. That's why I always share with you, nothing free except wisdom or understanding. Without understanding, without wisdom, you cannot free. Not all your fantastic meditative state, your jhana, that one cannot free you. That one is not wisdom. Because wisdom is the pure awareness, nature's energy, which is the pure energy, the pure seeing, the direct see. But this one is responsible for the arising of thought. So all thought will cease inside there. Understand now? It cannot arise. But from there, through delusion, through ignorance, it can create and manifest a lot of thought, endless. And that's how karmic conditioning, the law of karma, has its power to afflict and cause unnecessary suffering and misery to living beings. So it's an understanding. When you don't understand, thought has power over you. When you understand, thought ceases to have power over you. It's just like technology. You don't blame technology for the problem of the world. They say because of technology there is now widespread pornography, violence, everything. Technology is here to stay. You like it or you don't like. Like money. You cannot say money is a source of all evil. Then you want to do away with money. But you need money. Of course now they got digital money, no need physical money. But it is not that thing. Through technology that evolved, there is a problem. It's the user of that technology. It's like the user of money. If the user has goodness, wholesomeness, wisdom, then money becomes wholesome, beautiful, can be a blessing to all, can help a lot of people. But if the user is evil, then money becomes evil. Thought also same. Thought becomes wrong thought, negative thought, evil thoughts. So the user is the understanding that is within the form and mind. And this understanding that understand will act according to the understanding that he has developed. Means acting according to wisdom is true action, not acting according to knowledge, memory, or the what they call rubbish inside there, the psychological memory, which is very, very negative. Where it includes all our three evils of greed, hatred, and delusion. It involves all our phobia, our fear, our whatever knowledge that is so conditioned, especially through belief system, sakkayaditi, delusion. That's why when you can have the awareness to be aware, and when you can use the awareness to silently observe and develop all this understanding, then the understanding of how we function as a human being, that one is very important. How memory actually, through our DNA or karmic arising as a form of mind, can actually lead to that type of delusion. So when you look at all the knowledge that we acquire, the memory, that's why I have this past understanding. Then when my nature come in the early years, I think the moment I went into meditation after I was in Form 5, I developed the interest. Then later I met my teacher, my guide. Then finally my last guide, when he told me about J. Krishnamurti, it's a totally different person now. And through literature you read he is only a philosopher or supposed to be a new wise person or whatever. But he was an Indian from the Indian continent. And I don't have any inkling about him too. But the very funny thing is, he has a lot of wisdom. The moment he shares the wisdom that he has, I straight away see it so clearly. He just say this word, acting according to memory is not acting at all. Straight away I penetrate. Then I realize what that thing is. Because memory is rubbish. Then I straight away can link how our memory works and functions. Then how that movement from fear, the fear that arises from movement of thought. Then the awareness, when I start to develop the meditation with the silent mind, then I saw the creation, the movement. That's why all this four circle formation, after 1989, I inherit and I retain all this understanding. That's why I can share with you, I can teach you. This one you go and check. I think hardly any book write about it. Because this is not something in the Buddhist teaching on. But they have the words, the source, the five aggregate of form and mind, the conditioned world, all this. But the pure awareness nature, very few people dare to define what that one is. Very few. Even Zen master, I saw in the, you look at the whole Surangama Sutra, even the commentary, I was waiting for them to talk about this. So far I haven't seen. This version I don't know, so now on we haven't finished. That's why not easy. Okay, we better end. Okay, sadhu, let us rejoice with the good sharing by song that created the condition for us all to develop the understanding deeper. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So today sharing about fear is very good. The silent mind, movement away. So this is the application part. You can develop all this, then we continue to expand our understanding. Then as cultivator, many people can learn from all this. And always remember the application of it. Life itself is our greatest teacher. So confront life, live life. Do not fear life. That's why I said, I actually developed the curiosity of knowing more and more about our present civilization. I always express it as the golden era. Because every 10 years, every decade, so much changes happen now. So much like transformation occur to our civilization, our humanity's advancement, and this one never happened before. No? You look at the history of our planet, even the recent one, the past 3,000 over years. Actually, the past 3,000 over years of recorded history until now, we hardly progress, no. Not until the year 19, after World War II, I think, after World War II. Then still very backward until I was born, 54. Then 60s, still very backward. Basic humanity, water, electricity is still not there. We still had to depend on well water and all those things. Then education was very backward until the British came. The British, they were more advanced, the European civilization. So all this, as a developing nation, I finished my uni education. I went to uni 75. I graduated 79. But the moment I graduated, 80 onward, so much thing happened now. A lot of changes. Our first Malaysia plan also happened during the year I graduated. A lot of money came in. Then I saw how engineering, construction, civil, and all those things, how we become a developed country moving into, a developing country moving into a developed country. And we saw the transformation, and we went through the transition period from nothing, black and white TV to color TV. Then the handphone are very basic, Nokia and all those things, until the smartphone, until what we have today. Then now all the AI thing, the artificial intelligence, the autonomous driving, things that we dare not even dream of when we were young. Now it's all not only reality, happening now, available almost everywhere in the application field, I would say. So this is the era where you have the means and the money to afford all this. You can really live the wonderful life, the beautiful life, and you can experience all the prestige, wonder, and beauty of nature, all the progress of civilization, all of our senses, enhancement of experiences. A lot of things, even our parents, they don't have the chance to experience them. And all this movement for your younger generation, a lot more possibility. That's why actually I appreciate a lot of all these things. And I enjoy it. It's like every moment is pristine, beautiful. I can just silent. And sometimes I can just watch the internet, watch the computer, the handphone or whatever. Then experience the world. Actually through a lot of program now, not only in the TV, Astro, even in Netflix and a lot of other things. They share with you a lot of very beautiful knowledge. Then our world actually is very beautiful, our planet. Oh, I've seen a lot of this. Nowadays they got a lot of this 2-3 hours, some 11 hour, 12 hour type of program now. They describe the country, the whole country, like you have Switzerland, Japan or China, and they have a lot of this, but most of these are commentary done by Westerner. The English are very good, and their description is very good about that country. They really show you, and the uniqueness, especially China, the wonders of China, all those things. And they got a lot of programs. So you look around, some of the area in the world we never explored before. It's just like those countries that they took us there. The sea and all those things is very well kept on now, like not much pollution. No. And there is such places in the world. There's some with volcanic activity, everything. You really, I mean, you can just sit at home, click on all this, then you get to see. And for me, with the understanding, when I observe it with the awareness, I have so much joy. I realize the beauty of it and the marvel of technology. There are people who have this type of interest to go in and do this and free, YouTube or whatever. You just Google the link. And when you like to see this, they keep on giving you this. Initially, I thought the longest one was 3-4 hours. Then I came across another one, almost 12 hours. And now the AI video also a lot. But that one is video, not the real thing. So, a lot of possibility. Yeah? So, live this golden era well. Understand? That's what I mean by learn to live life. Don't gong gong to, gong gong jia, gong gong si. Just exist the true life. No meaning. You strive after all this for what? Like now, Pama Suri, Brother Teo, happy now, the whole family slowly taking reality. The son came back first. Then now the daughter, 2 more months. Then they have good life, and they have the means to really live that good life. And they got so much spiritual wealth, Dhamma, Chabiliao. So all this actually is a blessing. The Buddha called it the third phase of Dhamma, Pativeda. You get to reap the fruit of your hard work. And all this become a possibility, in front of you, a reality. And with the understanding, you can live it. And there is so much joy. That's why I had told Sui last night, I said, you decide your life. You want to come back and retire, you do. And now she very happy. She get to develop all this understanding, and she get to actually live all this good life. And at her age, she still got many years to go. 30 over years ago, even at the age of 80. Which is beautiful. And she has the means. She has the understanding too. That's why all Kanyamita, you are very blessed. So we all rejoice again. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, exceeded time already. We have to finish off. We share merit, we transfer merit, then we end. Akasata Jyopumata Devanaga Mahindika Punyang Tang Anumoditwa Chirang Rakantu Lokasasana Etta Vatta Chamehi Sampadan Punya Sampadan Sabbe Deva Anumodantu Sabba Sampati Siddhya Idang Menya Tina Hotu Sukita Hontu Nyateyo Idang Menya Tina Hotu Sukita Hontu Nyateyo Idang Menya Tina Hotu Sukita Hontu Nyateyo Devo Vasatu Kalena Sasa Sampati Heto Cha Pito Bhavatu Loko Cha Raja Bhavatu Dhammiko Imena Punyang Kamena Mame Bala Samagamo Satang Samagamo Hotu Yawa Nivana Patiya Sadhu Sadhu Sadhu. Okay, you all can now pay respect mindfully to the Lord Buddha, Guanyin Bodhisattva, and all the worthy ones. Then we end. Sadhu.